We'd like to welcome you to our Planning Commission meeting this evening. This is Planning Commission meeting for January 24th, 2023. This meeting is being recorded. I'd like to welcome you citizens that are here with us. We're going to begin our meeting this evening with an opening prayer by Commissioner Showers and a Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Tribe.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're so thankful to be here tonight and to be engaged in this important business on behalf of our community. We pray that we can have the right mindset and be given wisdom and be able to understand all of the issues tonight and make good decisions. We're grateful for the moisture that we've received, and we pray that we can keep it out of our homes and be warm and safe in our homes, and that as the snow melts, that our infrastructure will be able to handle it, and that all will be well with this. With this great blessing as it has been given to us, and we ask for these things in the name of Son Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please stand as we give the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We're going to begin our meeting this evening with a roll call of commissioners. Sharon Call, here. Mike Marchbanks.
Here.
Jared Showers.
Here.
Rob Callis.
Here.
Stephen Johnson.
Here.
And Scott Thompson is absent this evening. And Renee Tribe.
Here.
Okay. And the next item on our agenda, this would be for approval of the minutes. This is for January 10th, 2023. And commissioners have received those ahead of time and had a chance to review those. I didn't see any corrections or additions that needed to be made. Anyone else?
Nor did
I didn't either.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the voting is unanimous. The next item on our agenda, this is a time for public comment. This would be for any items that are not already on the agenda for this evening. Anyone here for that purpose? Okay. The next item on our agenda, this is for a minor subdivision approval at Watson's Cove, Plat A. And our applicant, this is at 282 East, 400 North. Our applicant is Michael Watson. Is that you, sir? If you'd like to come up to the front. And our presenting staff is Mary Barnes. There should be a place for you to sign in there. Okay.
Awesome,
Mary?
thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Call. This application is for a two-lot minor subdivision located at 282 East, 400 North. The applicant, Mike Watson, is proposing to subdivide his 1.03 acre property into a typical lot that has an existing residential home on it, and then this lot 2, a flag lot. The purpose being to build a new residential home. With the lot size requirements, the minimum lot size required for this zone, as you know, is 20,000 square feet. Lot 1 will be 20,728 square feet, and lot 2 will be 24,177 square feet. Both lots meet width, depth, and frontage requirements. And both lots meet all subdivision requirements, including the public utility easements around each lot line. One thing that came up just a few minutes before this meeting is a requirement let me pull it over. This requirement for the grade, I'll read it to you. This is in the flag lot code. It says, in order to further regulate the height of proposed structures, fill out the perimeter of buildings on flag lots shall be limited to no more than 4 feet above the street grade from which the property has access. But properties that have a pre-existing grade that is higher than 4 feet above the street level are exempted from this fill limitation. So this lot 2, let me pull it up again. Lot 2, the city engineer has reviewed the lot, and it is 10 feet above the existing 400 North grade. It's pre-existing, that grade, so it's permitted, but we want to, as staff, we discussed it with the engineers as well, and we want to add a condition to the motion. Again, this just only came up just before this meeting, but we want to add a condition to the motion acknowledging that this is pre-existing grade and that it is compliant with code because it is exempt from that requirement. Just to clear up any confusion in the future with, because this is 10 feet above 400 North, if someone's confused as to why there's a building built on, really, that seems really tall because it's so far above 400 North, we want on the record for it to state that it is exempt, just to limit any confusion or complaints that may happen in the future, if that makes sense.
Could you read the code again?
Yeah, for sure. Here it is. In order to further regulate the height of proposed structures, fill at the perimeter of buildings on the flag lot shall be limited to no more than 4 feet above the street grade, so that would be 400 North. However, properties that have a pre-existing grade that is higher than 4 feet above 400 North are accepted from this fill limitation. So it has a pre-existing grade of 10 feet above 400 North. So that's why we're adding this condition, is to just limit future confusion
So
for the
clarify,
record.
if,
Mhm.
it doesn't apply here, but if the lot was 4 feet below the road grade, what would you have to do?
It only talks about
It
above.
would allow you to bring in 4 feet, you could go up to 4 feet above the grade of the
Yeah.
street.
So you would have to bring in,
You wouldn't have to, but you're allowed to go up
okay,
to.
all right.
Yeah. It's saying that people, once you do a flag lot, you're not allowed to bring in more fill to fill a lot. But if it's pre-existing, then it's okay. So,
And then the good thing about this is it's, the city park is the neighbor, and so we don't have to worry about, issues of looking down onto another property or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
one more thing is the Parks and Recreation Master Plan designates 400 North for a 10-foot trail. So Mr. Watson will be putting in a 10-foot asphalt trail in the front of his property as part of the public street improvements for this.
No, well, that'll be in front of his place and the flag lot. Is that right?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Both lots.
Okay.
It's not anywhere else on the street at this
Is it
moment.
already there?
It's not already there on the south side.
Yeah.
I believe there's a 4-foot sidewalk on the north side. In some places, 400 North isn't
very
quite
developed.
finished. Yeah.
I thought 4th North almost had that 8 to 10 foot path right there.
Yeah, it is planned to have a 10-foot path on the south side. And I think up the road a little, there are some places where it has like an 8-foot trail or so. So we're just continuing, trying to, someday it'll fill in the spots.
It's equestrian trail, is that right?
The equestrian, so this is an asphalt trail, which I don't own a horse, so I don't know how horses do on asphalt, but I mean, the Lindon Heritage Trail is also asphalt trail, and I know lots of
But I
horses
think
use
you're
that.
asking it, the existing stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, the existing, you mean the gravel
yeah.
that's there?
Gravel right there
Uh-huh.
now. So
Yeah,
that, please do curb and gutter, is that what we're talking about?
yeah, so, I don't know if it shows it here,
So
but,
this one will be asphalt, we're not doing the gravel trails any
Okay.
longer for the horse.
Yeah.
That's what I was
So
curious about.
anything with this one and anything in the future will be asphalt.
Doing
Okay.
curb, gutter, asphalt.
So he won't have to put in curb and gutter,
He will have to put in curb.
Yeah.
10 feet.
Curb and gutter
Asphalt.
and the asphalt trail.
Right next to it, there is an existing gravel trail from when that was required, right where that cursor is. But at some point, that will be switched out for an asphalt trail. It's a lot easier to maintain. A lot more users can use it as well, like bikes and scooters. Any questions?
I don't see any way that it's not, I mean, it appears to be compliant with codes and the way you explain the height in the back,
My
because
only-
that's
yeah.
pre-existing.
My only question with the height is, I'm just trying to think, how does it flow with the other properties? You know, is it up and down, or just more for me to visualize it? I mean, it says it goes up 10 feet from the road. Does the neighboring property to the west also follow that same slope?
It actually slopes, so the lot kind of slopes down from west to east a little bit to the back corner, but it's pretty level from lot to lot, all the way along there. In fact, I'm surprised that it's 10 feet above it. It doesn't look
It
like.
doesn't look like
Yeah, I
10
didn't feel it.
I looked at it today, and
Yeah.
you can't tell that.
No,
And-
it didn't do that, but it's pretty level all the way across.
And
then it
there's
goes
not a-
down into the park a little bit.
Is there a drop to the park?
A little bit, yeah.
But not,
But
okay.
not significant.
I'm just trying to picture it in my head, is whether,
Feels like it's low.
what that might look if, I'm assuming that there's a possibility the lot next to you looks a lot like this one, that it could eventually do the same thing, and just wondering if they'd be similar, if they,
I think they'd be very, very similar, kind of similar shapes and everything.
thank you.
10 feet and 300 feet.
Is hardly
not-
anything, but
no. Yeah.
I actually, in my mind, thought it went the other way. But that's just, you know, I thought it sloped down because of the park, I guess.
Are you living in the current home that's there?
No, we just live up the street a little bit on Canal Drive, just below Canal Drive. So not too far, just up the corner a little bit.
Okay, so you own the whole property and the home is vacant, and then you're gonna,
The home is vacant, yeah, we
Okay.
own the whole property, yes.
okay, and you're gonna build a home, are you gonna live there?
Right now, we're still trying to decide whether to, we will live there and we'll build a home. We don't know if we're gonna leave the existing house, build on the whole property or build behind, but, you know, just to be safe and whatever we decide, we wanted to get this approved.
Yeah, right.
So are you planning to live in the home then that's built?
The one that it isn't built yet, but that we're going to build, yeah, that's the plan.
That's what I wondered, yeah.
Is this a family property?
No, it was a family
of your-
property that had been owned, I think, for a long time by the Montgomery family.
Okay,
We got to know them just a little bit in buying it, but it's not family property
Oh, I
that
see.
we've owned.
Nice.
If I may, I have a question.
What is your name?
My name is Jennifer Watson.
Uh-huh.
So, just getting to know the neighbors a little bit, I've had a few of them reach out to me and let me know that they told me that there's something going on right now with complaints, that a lot of the people around this area are complaining about the sound of the pickleball courts. I just wanted to confirm that.
Well, I'm going to let our planning person discuss that with you. I know that has been an issue there. I know the city has also taken some measures to help with that sound, but
Yeah, we do get some complaints from that one. I believe they wrapped it in material to try and dampen some of that sound, but
Yeah.
that hollow does seem to carry a little bit in that area. So.
I think they do turn off the lights for the pickleball court at, like, I think 10. 10 is the time, so, I mean, people shouldn't be staying after that.
it's time to take a pickleball, it's so close.
Yeah, we love it. I was just surprised by the 3 people that when we were walking the property, just came over and said, oh, I hope that your house will get rid of this sound, it's annoying. So I just wondered how big of a problem it was.
well, I know the city has taken measures to help with that. Okay. Anything else, or are we ready for a motion?
To make a motion.
Okay, do you want to make a motion? Renee?
I wrote out on just this Post-it note that condition. If you want to take it, that'd be great.
Yeah. I made some notes too, but yours is
Let Mike
probably
do it,
better.
he's got
I'll
it.
make the motion.
Okay.
Okay,
I move to approve the applicant's request for minor subdivision approval located at 282 East, 400 North with the following conditions. And that would be conditions 1 through 5. In addition, the city acknowledges that there is a pre-existing grade of 10 feet above the street level, that being of 400 North. The grade is exempt as per 17.32.320, parens 8 in the flag lot subdivision code.
That's great.
okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the voting is unanimous.
Thank you, we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
What's your timing, do you know?
We probably won't start building for another year. We just started designing the house, so it'll probably be 12 months before we start the process.
Thank you.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, the next item on our agenda, this is a site plan approval for a cemetery building at 600 North, 200 East. And our applicant is Lindon City, or Year One, right?
Yes.
And our presenting staff is Mary Barnes.
Awesome, thank you. So this item for site plan approval from the Planning Commission is a one-story, 1,900 square foot building in the Lindon Cemetery. And this cemetery is in the public facilities, the PF zone. This is what it looks like. So there are many reasons why the city feels or knows that this building is needed. City employees who are servicing the cemetery, and Juan can speak more on this, but from the meetings that we've had, I know that the city employees who are servicing the cemetery need an area to safely store the equipment and vehicles needed, both from weather and from theft, to protect from theft and weather. Additionally, there is need for a storage area as seen on these two bin areas. They'll be covered outdoor storage area for needed materials for the cemetery work, such as dirt. And there's also this office area for cemetery employees to wait in while funeral services are being held, and public restrooms. So there are no site development standards for the PF zone. That means no required parking spaces, no landscaping, no design standards, no setbacks. This building will be at least 247 feet from 200 East and about 400 feet from 600 North. It's 10 feet away from the abutting residential properties to the south, which is the side yard setback for residential properties, so it felt appropriate to have that setback. And it's about 115 feet from the closest built residential home, which happens to be Scott's home. He's not here today, but that's okay. All lighting will be shielded from shining into abutting residential properties. I also added that as a condition of approval to ensure that the two properties to the south, they're vacant right now, but when those properties are eventually developed, we'll make sure that that lighting stays on the cemetery property and doesn't come into these abutting residential properties. A trail is proposed from the 150 East, this cul-de-sac, to the south, coming through, most likely, I believe, Jared College's property. And then it will come around the back here and connect to this
It'll actually go on
here.
the west side, yes.
Okay, so it will not go around the back. It will come here, can connect over to this will
the
all be
asphalt.
asphalted.
Right.
We can show a good, this is the front view of the building. Here, there's those two garages for equipment, vehicles. Here's this office and the two covered outdoor storage areas. And on the side here, it'll be, you can barely tell, but it'll be like inset, and then there'll be two doors to the side for the public restrooms, which can be seen on the floor plan here. In conclusion, this project will provide a smoother way for public works employees to carry out their cemetery responsibilities. It will also provide public restrooms for the public that come for funeral services or come to visit loved ones. And the City Council, they are aware of this project, and the Planning Commission is the final land use authority on this subject. So with that, any further questions for me or Juan?
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question. Juan, has the road system been laid out on the west half of the future development? Is it gonna be a circle there?
It is gonna be an oval type thing, continue it. That is coming on next budget. We already are getting quotes from landscape architects to do the design, do the plotting, the surveying, the sprinkler system. And once I have those numbers, I'll probably submit those requests for funding to do the expansion, not this summer season, give Carlos the opportunity to keep planning throughout next year, and then
Yeah.
we are at about close to 70% sold on the cemetery.
Phase one.
Doesn't mean it's occupied 70%, but the plots are 70% sold.
Wow.
So with that future layout, and I'm sure you've analyzed this, I think this looks really good to me in the location, but just a question, have you thought, is there a better location for that building if the other half is developed?
That is,
Or is this a good the best?
that is the better location because we already have the sewer stubbed from the cul-de-sac,
Oh, okay.
and
It puts it in the midpoint of the,
it's already kind of used. Everybody's used to seeing
About down here.
yeah.
the field. I mean the operations area right there. We currently have a 40-foot container where we store a Kubota tractor and some of the protection boards that we use to put over the headstones and keep the.
That'll put the sand pile under cover and whatnot, so.
Yes, right now we have two bins. One is for the excavated material, topsoil, and the other one is for sand. So we try to keep them not always overflowing, but just to have enough material.
This looks good to me. I just thought, once this other half's developed, it puts the building in the middle rather than at the back of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Don't know that it matters,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, we thought that's still the best place because we have the water already there and the sewer. And we have to now run and we have power, but we will need to get a bigger service because of the furnace and other bigger things. And of course, so we don't run electric heaters, we're gonna run a gas line also.
I see.
We do have the proposed area that I'm thinking on the expansion is to put an access road connecting to 6th North in line with the 120 East Street. That way we'll have 2 points of access. There's also plans to not install a fence on the north side, make it all open, because right now we only have it open to the east. But where we need more cars to be parked, then everybody can walk from that area. The houses that are existing there on 600 North, they all have except the one in the middle. That one is the only house that faces the cemetery, but the other two face to the east and to the west, and they have fences if they wanted to block the view. But I think the cemetery's being kept very well right now. Some of the landscaping changes we made makes it more appealing, attractive. Some of the neighbors on that's
200 East?
200 East.
This one?
Have made comments that it looks better with the plantings and.
What, and I have been to the cemetery a number of times, but I guess I didn't realize what the new landscape features are that you put in.
Yeah,
What?
so we took out the shrubs that were in the middle, that were already about 7 foot tall, and you made it look like a hall, like a big alley. And you can see it right there, how it used to be. And now with that gone, it kind of opens it up.
Opens it up, okay.
Right, and then some of those trees have been dying, some of those oaks, so we've been removing some, and we're planning on putting something that is,
New trees in.
yeah, that are more, kind of like the ones that are to the side, those lindens that have more open centers and the foliage on top, rather than being dense and blocking the view. Like those red ones in the back, those ornamental plums, look really nice. They are not very big in size on the root balls and things, and that's one thing that we're planning on continuing, just as
When I've been there, it's always looked really nice.
we actually, the new yellow is the new green, right? Because of the water shortages we had.
Yeah.
We've actually cut, this is a picture prior to having the water shortages we had. But we actually cut water to 2 days a week instead of the 4 days a week that it used to be on. And one, makes the graves easier to dig. We don't leave as many tracks on the wet sod. And for some reason, the roots are growing deeper and staying green. So we're accomplishing both green grass and
Wow, that's great.
less water use. So
Yeah, that's great. So it's actually easier to maintain with less water.
right, yeah. And that fence is kind of the trees are growing into it. So we'll be removing that fence from there, and we will install a solid fence on the south side where it butts to the neighbors, but then we will still have that access for the pathway that will eventually connect through the cemetery and up to our park to the north.
Any other questions for Juan?
What's the plan? I'm assuming is the plan to have the restrooms open all the time, and then what about, it's just a place that's kind of secluded.
So-
I'm worried about protecting them and not having them vandalized, but also having them available.
So we will have video surveillance, and we will also have those bathrooms on timers to open at a certain time and lock at a certain time.
So it'll be evening hours, they'll be closed, but
We will we'll put a sign says that, around 6 or 7 because right now there is no bathroom.
right. No, I know it's frustrating. I've been to a cemetery, whatever, with little kids, and you go to the bathroom and it's locked all the time.
Right.
So it'll be nice to have it open, but
We
it sounds
do-
like you've got a plan to help
Right, yeah.
for
To put.
prevent vandalism.
Correct, automatic.
To nighttime vandalism, huh?
Right, automatic locks and good lighting on the front so we don't impact the neighbors, and also the surveillance cameras with alarms and all sorts of good stuff.
I don't have other questions. If none of you do, let's go ahead with a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the Lindon City request for site plan approval for a cemetery building at 6 North and 2nd East with the conditions of: 1, applicant will continue to work with the city engineer to make final corrections to the engineering documents. The plans will meet development specifications as found in the Lindon City Development Manual. Lighting will not encroach into the abutting residential properties, either current or future, and all items of the staff report.
I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The voting is unanimous. Thank you so much for being with us and doing the really good job you do. Okay, the next item on our agenda is to figure out what you want to do on the chair and vice chair for this next year. So, Mike, how do you want us to handle that, or?
In previous years, you've just taken nominations and discussed them and voted on it, so whatever you'd like to do,
Can we do
previous-
rock, paper, scissors, or is
Previous
that?
municipality I worked with, they like to do little secret ballots, and so whatever you'd prefer to do.
Well, Sharon, do you want to
Okay.
re-up? I mean,
I-
can't we just discuss this? We're all adults here.
My feelings are that there's others that probably would like to be chair, and I'm fine with that.
I'm definitely not one of those, so.
Steve, you've been
I-
vice chair for a couple of years.
I would be willing to be chair. I'll say that. I'll be willing. I'm not seeking, but I would be willing to serve.
Well, and that's where I'm at, is willing, but I'm not seeking. Rob, where are you
I'm
at?
not interested.
You're not?
No.
Okay, Steve, Mike?
Not interested and very much, if you're up for the abuse, be happy to support you until you don't want to do it anymore.
Well, it's a willingness, it's not a, like I said, it's not
Maybe
a
we ought to
seeking
take
for.
a piece of paper and write our top two, and then you tally them, and the top person gets it, and then second person's vice.
Sure. Let me go grab some paper.
Okay. Other things on tonight?
What? Yeah, we've got some other people here tonight. Did you were you just here as citizens, or?
So the three of us are. The three of us are taking an urban planning introductory course at
Okay.
BYU,
Uh-huh.
and were assigned to attend the planning commission so that we could get that idea of how city planning works, how.
Well, this is a very simple planning commission. Some of those get much more complicated than this has been. This is quite a simple
What's
one.
your accent?
My family is South African.
Okay.
Grown up here in the States, so.
Uh-huh,
You're Australian.
uh-huh. And what about the other two of you?
Are you from Utah or? Okay.
I have lived in like 7 states, but most recently I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay.
Well, it's good to have you here. Like I said, this was a very easy, simple planning commission. Many of the meetings get much more complex.
First and second
Right,
choice.
1 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
Was that right, Rob? I said
Yep.
one and 2?
And, well,
Does everybody need a pen?
I need a pen.
There we go. Did everybody put Scott?
That's what we should have done.
It's like, hey, you're not here,
He
so.
would have been just fine, but he was gone for like 3 months or something.
Yeah, he's
so
got a
that's-
travel schedule, doesn't he?
All right, so we have for chair, we've got 4 votes Sharon, 2 votes Steve. So Sharon will continue as the chair, and then Steve, 4 votes. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Steve will be the chair, so vice chair. so.
Well, and there is one thing, though, is my term does expire at the end of June again, so that may be an issue.
Yeah, we'll deal with it in June, so. That's okay. So,
Okay, but I'm fine doing it, it's not a big deal.
We do that by motion. So I'll make a motion that we re-elect Sharon Call as chair and Steve Johnson as vice chair.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
so I have,
Well, thank you for your confidence, but I would certainly have been happy to have you serve.
So I have a quick question. Are we in the discussion area?
Yeah.
Time?
I have two items that I need to
Yeah,
go over with
he's
you,
got
if you
couple
want to do
items.
those first and then
You go ahead.
finish
Okay.
up. Okay, so you're probably familiar with this project. It's Mark Weldon's project. This is 600 north here, and then it curves into, is that 2800 or 1800 west?
And the doTERRA is across the street.
So these two buildings were constructed, I'll go to the aerial, I don't know if it's updated on there yet. Yeah, so these two areas, or two buildings were constructed. Mr. Weldon did not build this back building as large because the Vineyard Connectors proposed to go through this area right here. At that time, he was in negotiations, and he's still in negotiations with UDOT to purchase this property here. So he would like to trade this, that's needed for the Vineyard Connector, and purchase this property up here in the front. That's been going on for a number of years now, that negotiation. I don't know where it's at. It's the UDOT, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they have a whole bunch of properties they want to swap out. This is involved in that, and it's taking years. And who knows how much longer it'll take. So Mr. Weldon has reached out to the city. Sorry, let me find where that's at. So he's reached out to the city about putting this building here on the back. And he's just willing to take the risk, and if UDOT comes through with Vineyard Connector, then they'll use eminent domain and purchase it at that time. The couple issues, the city issued a parking reduction for these two buildings, and I went over there last week, and I think we made the right choice. The front building has around 180 stalls, and I think 53 of them were being used. The back has like 156 stalls, and 40 of them were being used. All the tenant spaces are full. And so he would request that again on this back property, would have him do a study. The biggest issue is the regional commercial zone requires a 25% landscaping / open space requirement. And this building was part of where that landscaping was in back. It was a landscape detention basin. He wants to know the city's willingness to, what did I do? The city's willingness to start a program called a landscape in lieu, or a fee in lieu of landscaping. He wants to know what our interest would be, where, if he had $40,000 worth of landscaping to put in this back building, if the city would be willing to, he pays the city the $40,000, we use the landscaping someplace else. You can see there's still landscaping around the building, but that would drop his landscaping from 25% down to about 13% if he put that building in down there. It would take an ordinance amendment, so I'd have to write something. We'd have to put a program in place so that account is set aside for landscaping in the community. And so they'd have to go to both the Planning Commission and City Council for that ordinance. Just kind of wanted to get your opinion on. I'm gonna ask the city council the same question if they want me to work on something like this. Just kind of wanted to get your opinion, if you think this is a good idea or not.
I think the ordinance is a good idea. I've dealt with that in other places.
The fee in lieu of landscaping.
I just am not sure about building a building right there. Is it, what kind of a road, will that be a county road?
Right now would be probably it'd be a state road. It'd be it's an alternative to I-15. I believe it'll be 3 lanes or 2 lanes in each direction, possibly 3 lanes in each direction.
It's very prudent to build a building where you think there's gonna be a road,
Yeah.
and the eminent domain is now gonna be millions of dollars instead of.
And MAG has corridor preservation funds available. They just haven't been able to negotiate something like that.
So he's hedging his bets, thinking it's going to take another 20, 30 years before this gets resolved, or till it happens.
Yeah. Or maybe UDOT will finally move forward if he starts to propose a project there.
I think if we were to do something, we'd need some kind of a letter from UDOT saying, we understand this is going through and that to get this property.
They are very well aware of
Okay.
his desire to possibly put a building there. They are aware of his desire to trade properties, but so. So be outside the building, is that something you're interested in pursuing?
I like the idea of the ordinance.
Okay,
I mean, it's kind of like a park fee. You know, in lieu of building a park fee, works the same way, basically.
yeah.
And that would be applied to what zoning or?
It would have to be used probably as a public improvement or something, so if
Oh,
this,
sorry, but the ordinance, so is it just general?
it'd probably be a general wide city ordinance. And I think it would need to be strict where, you know, a building in the back of the property and the public necessarily can't see all of the landscaping.
Doesn't apply to every building.
Yeah,
Because if it backs up to some residential or something, I think it should have the
it should,
probably
yes.
should have the landscaping and.
Mhm.
And where do the funds go? Where would they go?
So they would be used, you know, the city would have discretion on using that in a public area.
Like a beautification
Uh-huh.
fund or something, or?
Yeah.
Center Street up to the temple,
Yeah, good.
something like that.
This is not very common. You've used it before, but I don't know a lot of situations. As I was just doing some quick research, I saw one ordinance in Saratoga Springs. That was the only one I could find right offhand, but it seems like it's more popular in California with street trees, where street trees are maybe planted in a better location, but I haven't seen it in a lot of other locations.
George has something like that.
I'll look at them.
Did you look at Eagle Mountain?
I didn't. I just searched, I just Googled
Yeah.
it, and the only city that came up in Utah was Saratoga Springs, and so,
I wouldn't be opposed at all to an ordinance
okay,
to that effect, whether it's used there or not.
okay. I mean, we want to make sure that still the property's landscaped well. I mean, and so, you know, needs to be attractive around the building. It needs to, but, so, okay.
It's reasonable. It's a reasonable idea.
Okay. All right. The other one I wanted to ask you about. There we go. So you've got the community center just right over here. You've got a little cinder block or a little brick accessory building right here. Here's the fire station, here's the community center. We're down here, right over here. the Parks and Rec Department stores some equipment out here, a power washer, some other equipment. They would like to put a carport up over there to protect some of their equipment. The ordinance says if a project is less than 1,000 square feet, the planning director, myself, can just review that themselves. If it will not materially, if it doesn't detract from the overall safety or aesthetics of the site, it will not be detrimental to the property. A couple years ago, a similar request came before you, and they wanted to do more of a garage type thing, a little tough shed. And I know the commission said, we want it to match.
Pool supply.
I thought that was for pool stuff, yeah, over by the pool, right?
There was another one, I think it may have predated you guys. But anyways, and you wanted it to match more the existing community center building with the brick. I'm fine, I guess this, what they're proposing is a 960 square foot carport, so it's right on that edge. And so I really, I can bring it to you, or I can just approve it. I just kind of wanted some feedback a little bit, what your thoughts are on. It is hidden a little bit in the corner there, but from your previous comments on that other accessory building that wanted to go in, the tough shed type building, just kind of what you think.
I don't have a problem with you approving that, Mike, but it's hard for me not to think about spending $10,000 or $15,000 to do something like that, to store, $1,000 of equipment or something. I mean, that's my 2 cents, I guess, on that, but.
I believe
What is it they want to put in there, just vehicles?
It might be, I think, vehicles, some equipment, like a power washing trailer, just to, maintain it so they don't have to
Is that a
replace it
big-
as often, so.
Is that a big need that they have? I mean, how,
I think so. I think it's just to get it out of the weather so it's more usable.
Where is it gonna be exactly?
It's gonna go
Right back of the old gym. Kind of back of the old cultural hall, yeah.
That'll go right here. Let me pull it up on Google Maps.
and is there, does the city have funding for
They
that?
do. Mhm. You can see they store, it looks like they've got a tractor out there right now. I don't know what else they've got here, but, so we're right here. We're here at City Hall. You got the police department, the community center. So it'd be right here in this corner.
Well, what's the difference in price of a carport and an enclosed garage?
I think there's a pretty good difference.
Yeah, there would be.
I mean, that cemetery building is $250,000.
It's a structure.
Yeah.
It's foundation footings and everything, but that thing, that carport almost looks like it's just built on slab on grade.
Yeah,
Almost, you don't get much security with a carport.
no, and they're not looking, I don't think, for necessarily security. Just,
Mostly for protection for
protection.
equipment.
yeah.
Weather, yeah.
Yeah,
And it could be moved,
yeah.
and the city could end up acquiring that. In fact, do we already own that dirt in back of there, the city?
I don't know on that. I don't believe so.
Yeah, I'd rather see something temporary that could be moved and not spend a lot of money in the process.
And could that be moved
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
they needed to?
Yeah, those metal buildings come down just as easy as they go up.
Put a metal building enclosed,
Yeah.
but anyway, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, commission feel okay with me approving that?
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
That's fine.
Okay, those were the 2 items I had this evening.
Any other items from the commission?
I
What-
have one.
Okay, yeah, you do.
I have one. So we are putting our home on the market in Lindon after 25 years. So we're gonna move.
Well, and Renee and I talked about that earlier
Yeah.
today, and that's a big change for you.
Yeah,
isn't
we've been
it?
here 25 years, raised our family here. But we found a place we really like, so we're excited to move. We're moving south a little bit. 5 acres. So we're
Down
excited. Yeah,
down to
Benjamin.
Benjamin?
Mm-hmm.
Roll up your sleeves.
Yeah, we are. We are. We're digging in down there. So,
Well, that'll be a loss to the commission.
well, I appreciate that. But I'll commit through February and then we'll see after that if we're still around or not. But
But you said mostly you're
yeah, we're back and
down
forth,
there at this point
Yeah.
mostly, huh?
quasi settled.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so if you know anybody who wants a great home in Lindon, you know.
So that will open up another slot for commissioner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
well, that's a big change.
Yeah, it is.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you on that, yeah. I had to joke with her, but Renee, I thought you didn't like yard work, and I
not
thought you were
saying I'm
going
doing
for
it, okay, you guys?
Something smaller.
Just buy some goats, huh?
Yeah.
It's gonna be out there baling hay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my
Building
husband's
the
all about that, so.
outbuildings, huh? Well,
But
that's exciting for you and your
it's-
family, though.
We like the house and in the area, and we're just, you know, getting our mojo down there, and so far, so great.
Okay. Well, best to you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Oh, I had one question. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I just had 2 or 3 people ask me, they were planning on coming tonight because they had been told there was a discussion on the metering for the secondary water. I told them that there was not.
Well, we don't have
But,
anything to do with that.
Anyway, there was just a concern that they be notified when there is anything from the city council or whatever.
Have you heard anything, Kathy?
Adam has been sending out things on the Everbridge. You guys have probably received them if you're signed up,
Mm-hmm.
and emails and stuff like that out. But
They've got a good start on it.
Yeah,
Brad, I don't know about when I haven't heard that it's gonna be on the council, though.
we got notices on our doors that our property would be metered soon.
That would-
They've already started it on this side of the highway.
I think.
Do you know, Mike, on that, we had them do it voluntarily before, and it would be a mess for them to come in right now and try to do it. If there's a good list of people that have already been done, so the contractor doesn't, I mean, it's in our garden, that, I mean, they'd sink up to their knees in mud right now trying to come. So I just don't know how to notify. Yeah, we called the number, but the guy's like, oh, you know, it didn't sound like he knew quite what to do to. So we said, you really don't have to come into our yard. We already have a meter. So I don't know if there's any good way to not have them come into yards that are already done.
Yeah, I talked to Juan on that. If you wouldn't mind reaching out to him, he'll know better than anybody.
Okay.
I would think they'd know who they've already done when they.
Yeah, because
Well, I think the city does, but I think they've just hired another contractor to come. I mean, you know, they blue staked the whole road to come do our road, and we tried to
Have they blue staked your road recently then?
in the last 2 weeks.
Have they, yeah? Because they've gone down, they've actually completed a bunch of them on 800 West, and they're coming up 100 South.
Even with the weather like it is,
Yeah.
they've been able to go ahead. That's
Yeah,
what I
they've been
wondered
doing
if
it.
they
Yeah.
could even work.
Not that big of a deal. Yeah.
and they won't be restoring any sod until summertime. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Right.
just hopefully they'll be keeping the people informed.
yeah, I know I got a text alert yesterday about work happening in this area. So
I just, and this is probably my own not listening carefully as I should have, but last time when we had, the presentation on the 700 North architectural improvements and suggestions or revisions, and I know we were supposed to respond with our thoughts on things. I really haven't done that. Can you kind of let us know exactly what you're wanting or the consulting firm is wanting on that, so that, has anyone else responded to them on that?
It was mainly what, if we're heading in the right direction, if anything
Okay.
glaring, if it caught your eye. You know, would those, nodes, 3 nodes along State Street at 700 North and State, 400 North and 200 South, are you comfortable with that? That buildings would be a little bit closer to the street, in those areas, a little bit more of a presence, so.
So if we felt good about the direction it's going and those suggestions that are being made, that's,
Yeah,
we
then
didn't
you're good.
really need to respond on that
No.
then? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
totally on track. I felt like they were doing a pretty good
Yeah.
job.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hoping to finish that up in the next month, and then we will do another presentation, so have it completed, and then do some public hearings and things like that, so.
Okay,
One more thing I remembered. I've been playing defense the last couple of weeks with a group of people who've said, they're accusing us of bait and switch, and I assured them that wasn't the case. But the project over by Lindon Nursery, there's the people who live west there said, hey, those are a lot higher than we were led to believe, and they're so much higher than the wall.
mhm.
And I think I know why, but.
Well, and the backyards go like this,
Yeah,
and the fence is way lower.
Yeah, unfortunately, they put the fence in first and then had to build up the site, and with grading and utility requirements, that was the grade they ended up with. Yeah, it is unfortunate. They are going to be planting, they don't have the finished grades yet. They will be planting trees in every backyard, and so,
has he heard the complaints from the developer?
he has, yep. The mayor has talked to him a couple different times.
And what's his response to that?
It's a city code. We had that, we've learned from that. We met with Wayne and Spencer Corbridge on theirs, and we've been very careful on those. They're on their own are doing 2 fences. They'll have one that's about 15 feet out to create a small backyard. And then remember how they have a trail that goes in the back? So then they have the trail, and then they also have their 7-foot wall. They're actually doing an 8-foot wall on theirs.
We were talking about making that from a 7 to an 8.
Yep,
requirement.
I've been working on that. I've been researching it and putting some things together.
Okay.
Well, that's the difference in developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Well, do we have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And thank you for you students for being with us. Come again another time when our agenda is a little more full. And-
Or not. This was great. You got credit for it.